May I ask you kindly to speak to the loved ones of Schwerner and Goodman, who died with one of your brothers, Cheney, buried in a shallow grave in the South in the middle of the Civil Rights Movement because this black man was seen with two white Jews down there causing trouble, trying to promote the civil liberties of your people. Two Jews found in a shallow grave. I happen to have met the mother of one of these very brave people. And when she sees this, we can only speculate what must go on in her heart. You would want to say what to her?
I don't have anything to say to her.
You just condemned all Jews with that observation, with this alliterative kind of Jew bashing that so excites your largely male audiences.
Well, I wonder why. It means that I speak the truth. I speak to the pain and hurt of the masses of black people. I speak that which many of them wish they could say. That's why they cheer and applaud.
Speak to Mrs. Goodman,
and I speak that also, which many of them only whisper behind closed doors. I think it is very arrogant to put this on the screen, and for you and for others to attempt to tell me, one of the Holocaust victims of the African Holocaust, displaced in the death and decadence of the diaspora of the Western world after having been robbed and raped and murdered, to tell me how to hurt. These are strong words that you put on the screen, but you cannot tell the aggrieved and the victim. As I was talking to Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz, the young student warrior from Howard University, and we were going over this. And we said, how do they expect to tell we who have suffered so much how we should speak? When you're hurt, you'll say faggot, you'll say cracker, but you don't want to give me time to say where these terms came from and how they apply to your people here in America.
If it is true that I don't want to give you time to explain the etymology of these words, it is also true that you apparently don't want to respond to my question regarding the loved ones of two Jews who lost their lives to stop the diaspora of the black people.
I don't know.
Do you have any?
I don't know why they were there, and you don't know why they were there. But really? I must say this.
So you're wondering whether they were there for your people?
I'm not wondering at all about them. I'm concerned with the suffering and the pain of the masses of black people. No one wants to pay reparations. The Jews received over $100 billion in reparations and gets $4 billion annually. A Holocaust museum was set up for them on this soil for over $200 million, and they get $21 million annually just for operating expenses. But the Catholic Church, the Pope, the Jews, the Arabs, white people in general, no one wants to pay reparations to these, the sons and daughters of Africa. So I speak to them. I don't speak. I speak to them. I don't speak to the family of those two Jews. There are too many of us for me to speak to them.
You don't want to take any time to make any particular
We've given all the time we've been in America. Now it's time we do something for ourselves. We are the same people, Phil, that when you beat us and rearrange our eyeballs in the socket and rearrange our face and beat us and stomp us before the world, we're the same people that get up because God just made us with tender and sensitive hearts as his chosen people and say, well, can't we just get along?
Adolf Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust.
May I have your attention, please? Thank you.
Adolf Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust on 11 million people that died, 6 million of which were Jews, 5 million were others. Am I to understand that you would very much support his way of doing things, and him for that matter?
Sir, this is not reverse racism nor discrimination that you could tie into your statement on Hitler. If the slave master is whipping the slave and blood is running down the slave's back, and that's incidentally where the term cracker comes from the cracker man who was had the crack of the whip on the slave's back. But if the slave takes the slave master's whip from him and starts whipping the slave master with his own whip, that is not reverse racism. That is not reverse discrimination. That is the slave getting out from under the yoke of bondage and oppression. I don't advocate what Hitler has done before the world. Hitler's struggle. I went to the Holocaust Memorial Museum and I tried to separate Hitler as a freak of nature from the rest of white people. But after all that we have gone through, I know that there's a little bit of Hitler in all white people and a lot of Hitler.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
All facts. Yo, what is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Shouts out to Consider in the building. And I know I don't mean to even keep going live, but it's just so much things that I wanted to talk about, and then more things that I want to talk about, and then I just had to come on here and talk about it. And shouts out to the brother Khalid Muhammad, what I'm saying? Of course, the soldier, a real one. But before we do that, let me do this because I'm not try not to be long, but like I said, man, I be doing too much sometimes, but it's all good. We're gonna learn today. But first, let me just play this brother because something positive start off with, I guess.
To all my black people, when you are out in this world, keep your head on a swivel, keep yourself protected at all times, and watch out for your brothers and sisters. Shit is getting straight wicked out here. We got what happened to Sade Robinson. What's going on with Calvin Riley? Police officers in Alabama don't even have to turn on their body cameras anymore. Every single day, they are making it easier and easier for us to be hunted. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call a spade a spade. They don't care about what your gender is, your sexuality, how much money you make, what car you drive, what neighborhood you live in, your accomplishments, where your family from. These people don't give a fuck about none of that. They see the color of your skin and they want your ass gone. We may not be a monolith, but we damn sure getting treated like it. I don't give a fuck if I see your ass in Target and I ain't never met you.
And of course they will have it right there and could have had it before or after. Damn.
Life. It should be a fuck if I see your ass in Target and I ain't never met you a day in my life. It should be an unspoken rule that we have each other's backs no matter what, because ain't nobody else coming to save us. The justice system don't give a fuck about us, and 9 times out of 10 they the perpetrators. And everybody needs to be accounted for. Your friends and family should know where you at all times, who you with and what the fuck you doing. I don't give a fuck if you Black Dynamite. Your friends and family should have your fucking location. It shouldn't be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Too many people are coming up missing. And ain't nobody out here finding them. This shit is sick. This shit ain't no fear mongering. This is just the truth.
What about this?
All right, yo. So shouts out to this brother here. I appreciate those words, And I also wanted to play. I wish I could have just found the video, but I ain't going through all that to find the video of this dude.
Views and local
this picture
Pastor
here.
Samuel Burlinson. You can hear Pastor Ronnie Jones as a featured speaker during a Faith Baptist camp live stream.
It's deeply frustrating.
I get sick and tired of white boys all the time wanting to go to downtown Chattanooga and try to pattern their life out of how they're living downtown. Black boys with their breeches hanging off, and white boys want their breeches hanging off. And
Burleson says videos like this aren't uncommon to see in some church circles. In a now deleted YouTube video posted
damn white boys were trying to be
by
black.
Faith Baptist Camp, pastor of Greater Community.
We never have the liberties. We never have the liberties to preach our own ideologies.
It makes me sick to pull up to a red light and see a white boy in a little lowered car with one of those trash can mufflers on it and the boom box in it, and they're goosenecking in there. And I want to jump out and open the door and say, "You're not black, you're white," and straighten up.
We will never heal from stuff like this, from this sin.
Shut up, cool. Yeah, tell her that. I'm trying to be like
to speak with you to hear your side of it. Do you not want to?
Nothing wrong.
Pastor Jones says he didn't see anything wrong with what he said in the video, but Pastor Burlington points to the part where he's talking about black and white boys.
I'm just simply saying that God made a difference in us.
He says the pastor spoke about not being the same race while speaking in a cadence widely known in the Black Baptist community.
That's part of the problem.
Copying black, but that's what they do. But let's run out. Let's listen to this one more time. Because maybe he said it, so you believe it. You know what I'm saying? You can't see it with your own eyes that you're different, or by character that you're different. But
he said in the video, but Pastor Burlington points to the part where he's talking about black and white boys.
I'm just simply saying that God made a difference in us.
He says the pastor spoke about not being the same race while speaking in a cadence widely known in the Black Baptist community.
That's part of the problem with the way in which white culture has taken these things without any proper cultural accreditation.
Without knowing how to do it right, you know what I'm saying? But they're uncreative. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? You're going to try to be like that? You're going to try to fit in with that? You know, it's uncreative. What are you going to do, right? Now, I want to show you this, right? And just to refresh our memories, you know, we got to watch this, right? I don't know if y'all still with me or if they're going to cut me off here or what, you know. But I want to go back to and visit this, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I think we should, you know.
Oh, wait, let me get a good angle. Let me get a
Look how aggressive this thug white girl here, you know what I'm saying, is violently attacking. You feel me? Look how they're doing this, you know. Now, right? Because we understand generally. Hey, let this fool tell you, you know what I'm saying, one more time, since y'all don't want to believe it. Y'all fight so hard to be, well, we have been fighting so hard to be whatever.
With what he said in the video, but Pastor Burlington points to the part where he's talking about black and white boys.
I'm just simply saying that God made a difference in us.
He says that.
There you go, you know, and you see how the difference is, you know what I'm saying? But let me show you this, you know what I'm saying? Now this young lady here who is defending herself, of course, you know, but we understand, but this is the problem here, right? Us as a community, and I'm sure somebody has like a GoFundMe thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all we can really do until we get like enough people get the guts to you know, stop letting this type of thing happen. And by just, you don't have to take it to no extreme level if you don't want to, but just like, you know, standing in front of, like, making it known that this is not going to happen. You are not going to do this, right? So this happened yesterday with this young lady. And you see my sister Cassandra is already in the comments going in on them, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna show you, like, you know, this young lady who is defending herself, that DA needs to be voted out of office. You know, this young lady was clearly defending herself, you know, but they're gonna try to charge this young lady as high school student, this child, right? She's just a young she's just a young student, you know what I'm saying? A young girl, you know what I mean, who had to defend herself, you know what I'm saying? And we already know what happened the other way around with heads getting bashed in or whatever, you know.
We do have new details at 4 on the case where a 15-year-old is accused of violently beating 16-year-old Kaylee Gain. Within the last 2 hours, a court hearing was held as a judge continues to debate if that 15-year-old will go to trial as an adult. First Alert 4's Shoshana Stahl following this case for us. She's live in the newsroom.
I don't even know, like, they're trying to force us not to defend ourselves. You know what I'm saying? because I want to show you so much more. I'll probably lose it after a
New
while.
details at 4 on the case where a 15-year-old is accused of violently beating 16-year-old Kaylee Gain. Within the last 2 hours, a court hearing was held as a judge continues to debate if that 15-year-old will go to trial as an
15-year-old.
adult. First Alert 4's Shoshana Stahl.
Now, this thug, of course, with her drug addict parents and stuff like that, this thug was already suspended for fighting and bullying people, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to get into the young brothers and they, dangerous as white bitches, you know what I'm saying? But they say, why the babies? They ask me why the babies. And he needs to be fired or voted out. We're not going to mention how the white girl hit her first and it was bullying her and bullying others, you know. Of course, we're not going to mention that. You know what I'm saying?
Following this case for us, she's live in the newsroom with new developments. Shoshana?
But that's what I'm saying. They're never going to do that, you know. And there's only like one thing that you can really do, which is like at least, you know, be like, hey, we as not going to stand for this, you know, like we're going to do something and we're going to pretend like, let's pretend like this young lady is a young Arab girl in Palestine or something and say we're going to boycott something for her. If you don't want to take it to that level, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody may not be built that way, which is probably going to make us slaves forever. You know what I'm saying? But let's pretend like she is a person of color and do something instead of a young sister that we don't even defend. You know what I'm saying? But of course, they're always going to think this way.
David, today was all about making sure the juvenile office and the defense are both set for the certification hearing that's set for next Friday. In court today, the 15-year-old suspect and her family present. We also know the 16-year-old victim, Kaylee Gain's family, also in the courtroom today. Today, we learned the certification investigation and report are done. That means on Friday, May 10th, the certification hearing is set to happen. That's where evidence will be presented to the judge by both the juvenile office and the defense. We know that it's also possible the suspect's family could speak as well as the victim's family. The suspect's attorney speaking to us outside the county courthouse today, saying he's hopeful she won't be certified as an.
So if they can get him off meth long enough, apparently her dad is finally going to show up. Like, I don't know where he was then, you know, and which trailer park he was smoking that meth in, whatever they do out there. Now he's going to finally come out there, you know, and do something, but it's too late. Now the little white girl done tried to bully somebody and got her frontal lobe cracked, and now she gonna be in a damn wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? And I only see, like, you know, considerate and I saw this other brother, you know, and she said, are we gonna know the fact that that little, you know, walked up and hit her first? And this dude was like, oh yeah, the female Drake started it, swung first, was already suspended for getting in a fight the day before. Now she wheelchair Drake. That's why you don't live in any state, you know what I'm saying? I guess it doesn't matter. But she's getting time for being right, you know?
Adult.
But she's not an adult. She's a juvenile, so there's no need for her to be in the adult court. But you know, ranges of punishment, penalties, all of that becomes much more serious in the adult court.
And something that's important to mention.
And this young sister is actually a good student from what I heard, you know. She just be doing her thing, and they was bullying her. She was the quiet one defending herself, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, oh, well, you know, it is what it is.
Fight as an adult.
But she's not an adult. She's a juvenile, so there's no need for her to be in the adult court. But you know, ranges of punishment, penalties, all of that becomes much more serious in the adult court.
And something that's important to mention here is just because
they're not bringing up the fact, what Marcus True site, I never seen, but you know, they're not bringing up the fact that she was suspended for fighting before she got hands put on her for trying to jump a younger student, which is key word. They won't bring her dope head parents either. Yeah. And probably if they can get them off the pipe long enough to show up, you know, and none of this would have happened if that wasn't the case. But you know how you know that this is a damn lie? Because they're like, oh yeah, well, she went too far and all of this nonsense and blah, 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 you know, but I don't know if you remember just a few months ago when that young brother who was on the subway, you know what I'm saying? And he actually killed this person. And they was like, oh yeah, well, he was just defending himself. And you know, it's funny because I actually saw this video before I saw the last one, because some made me even, because I was like, yo, I wonder, because he's a real African American, quote unquote, Sheriff David Clark. He's been Americanized like a mug, and he hated himself. I was like, what happened to this dude? And apparently, this was one of the last sightings of this dude. And I just happened to look it up, and then I was like, but you see how, you know, I hope he runs for office, but now all of a sudden they understand self-defense when you choke somebody out on a damn train. You know what I'm saying? Now it's self-defense.
Marine veteran Daniel Penny in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely.
Penny will be arraigned on June 28th on second-degree manslaughter charges. So to continue this conversation, let's bring in...
It is old handpots with manslaughter charges, but they talking about this young sister is trying to get her up to probably higher charges than he got, right? And you know.
Retired NYPD Sergeant Anna Serrano and former Milwaukee Sheriff and Newsmax contributor Sheriff David Clark. Thank you both so much for joining us. Sergeant, I'll start with you. Was this the right decision to make here?
I think it was the wrong decision. It will stop people from actually intervening when people are being attacked on the subway.
Wait, did you hear that? It's the wrong, it will stop people from intervening, right? It's the wrong decision, right? Because it will stop people from intervening because
people from actually intervening when people are being attacked on the subway. And it's absolutely wrong. You think that in last year in 2022, you had Elizabeth Gomes, who was taking the train to go to work, and she was attacked by Wahid Foster, and now she is going to lose her eye. And then last month, in May of 2023, you had Amin Ozoy, who was going to work, and she was pushed in front of a subway, hitting her head, and now she's paralyzed from the neck down. Who's going to intervene? Who's going to want to intervene and try to help people? And
that's a great question. Who is going to intervene if this young sister didn't step up and have to crack her frontal? Who is going to intervene if you're going to try to say, well, if you defend yourself, now we're going, even though you were a younger student than the person who hit you first, you know what I'm saying? Who is going to want to intervene then? You know what I'm saying?
And with the being persecuted, I think it's the wrong decision.
Sheriff, I think that's a point I've been making, and I agree completely with the sergeant. Police cannot be everywhere, okay? I was law enforcement, you're both law enforcement. It's impossible to have a police officer or a sheriff on every single corner. And you would hope that if someone was being beaten on the street, someone was being attacked, that a good Samaritan would come by and at least help. But
what did he say? If somebody is being attacked, like we saw that young thug girl attacking that young sister, the brave sister who defended herself, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to her, because that's what happens, right? You would think that somebody would step up. I agree with that. You would think that we would get tired of it and step up and like defend each other. You know what I'm saying?
Attacked, that a good Samaritan would come by and at least help. But you're going, this case tells me you're putting yourself at risk of being charged with a crime. So tell me, Sheriff, how does this all play out? He offered up.
Well, it was also a crime for like 3 or more black people to hang out in a group. I guess that's why we can't even hang out together now without it being an issue, because we'd be scared they call us a gang or something.
Account of what happened, by the way, before we go there, I just want to see, we have Penny offering his own account of what happened. Can we just watch this real fast?
The 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die. I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying...
Wait, did they say this fool went too far? Because that's what they said. The 15-year-old young sister was going too far. Was he going too far?
But I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I didn't see a black man threatening passengers.
No, of course not.
So, Sheriff, this Marine stepped up because he was in fear for himself and others. Where are we in our country at this point?
That's a great question. When a 15-year-old girl can't even, step up and do the things that she have to do to defend herself, and they trying to charge her as an adult, where are we? Well, where we always been at. I don't know where the hell y'all been at. That's where we always been. The same place we always been.
Well, we've lost our way. When a person can't defend themselves, a person can't reasonably, under the circumstances, step in and intervene in a situation like this. But as for the criminal indictment, look, indictments are easy to get. I've testified before grand juries. It's not an adversarial process. In other words, the prosecutor comes in before the grand jury and just says, here's what we think we can prove. He doesn't present what Mr. Penny just said there. So the grand jury's not aware of that stuff. That's how easy an indictment is to get in this country. But now trying to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt is a different standard. It's a much higher standard. And I think they're going to have a problem here because they're going to have to, the prosecutor is going to have to put all the people on the stand who were on the car that day, many of them who thanked Mr. Penny afterwards for intervening on their behalf. So this is going to be a very problematic situation, not to mention that the jury Mr. Penny is going to be in front of.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at this full picture in the damn background. Look at this full picture in the damn background. And by the way, that first dude, I forget his name right now, but that dude got shot, and he was the first one to get shot and killed, by the way. So I just want you to know that.
Situation, not to mention that the jury Mr. Penny is going to be in front of, they get to bring their experiences on the street, on the subway system into this thing. And I'll tell you what, they know what's going on. They see it every day. Many of them have probably been in that situation on the subway. So that's going to make it very hard beyond a reasonable doubt to get 12 people. And all they have to do is put doubt into the mind of one juror, and in this case, fall apart. So we'll have to wait.
Yeah.
Sergeant, you know the subway system well. So does Mayor Eric.
All right. I hope you take your lessons there. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you good Samaritans, if you see a young sister being attacked, don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? To help her, or him. And speaking of that, I want to show you this, this young brother here. Let me see. All right, so this young brother here. Oh, damn. All right,
The Township Police Department did start an
outside playing tag with his little friends, you know what I'm saying? Quote unquote. How do you feel threatened when your back is showing? Yeah, but you're going too far. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to play this, just one more time before we go to the next thing, because it's self-defense,
Hold on, wait. Let me get a good angle. Let me get look.
Wait. Who hit who first? All right, let's go. Let's see. Up. The first one to step forward. The first one to swing. All right. Just have to make sure.
Look. Hold on, wait. Let me get a good angle.
All right. I meant to play that one. But anyway, let me show you what happened with this young brother here.
happening today, the father of Justin Johnson and their attorney are expected to speak about the death of the 16-year-old.
Now, an autopsy report from the Dauphin County coroner states that Johnson died from complications from sickle cell disease.
Fox 43's Tyler Hatfield joins us now in Lower Paxton Township with how the community is coming together to show their support for the family. Tyler.
Yeah, Jackie and Sean, I'm in the neighborhood of the Johnson family right now, and they'll be speaking later today and with their law firm about their son's death. Now, this will be the first time the family is speaking out since their son died last Friday. Now, while rumors went around on social media and the Lower Paxton Township Police Department did start an investigation, the coroner lists the manner of death as natural. The coroner says Johnson died from complications with sickle cell disease and a heart condition. Last night, the community came together to show their support. Hundreds of people gathered at Coons Park in Lingostown for a vigil for Justin Johnson. To not only
I'm sorry,
remember him, but
walk away for a second. No, okay, yeah, this ain't the right
the community came together to show their support. Hundreds of people gathered at Coons Park in Lingostown for a vigil for Justin Johnson to not only remember him, but celebrate what would have been his 17th birthday. Classmates from
I didn't really
Central
believe it
Dauphin
at
School,
first.
members of the community filled the park with flowers and pictures. Many say they vowed to never forget what Johnson meant to them.
I didn't really believe it at first, but then I saw like all the news stuff going around about it, and I got really sad and emotional, and I just really couldn't believe it. I would remember him on my phone. Actually, I have as my lock screen, so every day I wake up and look at my phone, I can see him.
Oh yeah, consider the black girl jumped on the other black girl to help the white girl, and then the white girl is over there bullying black girls with young black boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I also want to talk about too. But
I just think about him all the time.
People at the vigil last night also released balloons and planned to plant flowers at the park in Justin's memory. Now at around 2 o'clock.
I was trying to find the one that showed his the video. I don't know. Which one showed the video?
Doris Burke here.
Oh man. All right.
spoke to Justin.
I don't know which one had the video of it. I guess this one maybe. Okay, you went to Africa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is, and then
Yesterday
I'll
would have been the 17th birthday for Justin Johnson. You might be able to see the
yesterday. Yesterday, or when 2 days ago would have been his 17th birthday, you know what I'm saying? According to him. All right, thinking he's gonna be out there playing with his little friends, you know, but I mean, we're gonna learn. We ain't got no
Yesterday
friends.
would have been the 17th birthday for Justin Johnson. You might be able to see the balloons over my shoulder outside of their family home. And Johnson's father said that Justin wasn't just his child in many ways, he was also his best friend.
It's my life. I mean, I spent most of my time with him.
Orville Johnson says it's been a difficult several days since he lost his 16-year-old son, Justin. The two were close and spent a lot of time together.
Make sure as soon as he comes through the door, he finishes his schoolwork, so as soon as I get home.
Justin and his father were both very involved in each other's lives.
I can't even date a girl without him telling me that we need time together. Just how close we are.
After moving from Jamaica to Lower Paxton, Justin took up an interest in playing football and getting stronger.
And so I have my heart rate monitor, and I come home and say, look how much carbs I burned for today. And it's like, that's a joke. I lift this.
Orville Johnson says his son was kind and inspiring and believes what happened Friday was preventable.
I just want parents to be mindful where the kids are going at night. And just remember, it's not everybody you see is in the healthy position.
No matter what happens with the investigation, Orville Johnson said he will always remember Justin for how he lived.
And he makes me very, very proud.
Now, let me tell you this, right? Now, I don't know what happened and how this young brother ran so much, like he ended up collapsing, but they're or whoever, they're already talking about, well, he died of natural causes, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not gonna do anything to none of these little white kids, you know what I'm saying, no matter what they was doing to them or none of that, They're not gonna ask, because when you see here, this young brother is no longer here, you know what I'm saying? Right? And see, it ain't no never going too far when it's you, is it? Right? It's only going too far when you defend yourself, right? But I'm the extremist one, right? But they're not gonna ruin these little white kids' lives because a 16-year-old black dude died. And the key word is a black dude, right? Yeah, they're not gonna hold them accountable, right? They straight up say, I wish that's what the one I was kind of looking for, because it showed the video and it said, well, the coroner or somebody said, well, he died of natural causes, which they're gonna be like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna investigate it. And you notice they're not gonna show the little white kids' faces or none of that, you know what I'm saying? It's only your children they do that to, And this is because this is why I don't even get into that type of stuff, because it ain't to be like try to be petty or any of that. Because even this brother is from Jamaica, because we all have this mentality, oh, we can be around them and be accepted by them and be their friend and all of this crazy stuff, and not realizing the truth about the situation. Right now, I actually saw this earlier, you know what I'm saying, and then I saw this earlier today. And this Jamaican woman, just listen to some of the stuff that she was saying,
Jamaican immigrant here. I've been living in the States for almost a year, and I just want to give some context as to why African Americans may be experiencing what they're experiencing when it comes to us immigrants. I'm not here to invalidate that creator's feelings nor anybody's feelings who shares that experience with her. So first things first, the way how African
Now, and understand it, I'm not like I wouldn't have showed this, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, yo, no, but and the whole point is, even though like when I saw the father speaking, I'm like, yo, he's Jamaican. It's a bigger point to this that we have to understand as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Because we just don't get it,
Americans prioritize blackness isn't necessarily the same way in which an immigrant would prioritize their blackness. So you know how African Americans would say, oh, black writer, black creator, black artist, black lawyer, black doctor, black woman in STEM. No, when we come to this country, it's immigrant or nationality, maybe our careers next, and then whatever else comes after that. So immigrant, Jamaican, marketer.
Now she's saying they're immigrant first, and understand this though, because I'm not saying that this is not a representation of Jamaican people, but if you ran a country, right, you're not gonna bring in the ones who is about, all right, yo, let's black people unite from Jamaica to here and we're gonna do this and this. They're not gonna bring that type of people in, you know what I'm saying? Or like a Marcus Garvey or somebody in, right, who is willing to ride. They're going to bring in somebody who says, I'm an immigrant first and then this and that, But let's see how it works out when it comes over there, because
whatever else comes after that. The issue that you're having is we don't see ourselves as one of you. And the reason that we don't see ourselves as one of you is not because of blackness. We just see ourselves as an outsider. We have to work twice as hard to get where you are. We are so focused on our own business.
See, and like people think that yo, we have to to try to get where you are. You are so lucky, and so, like what is people talking about, right? Like even the whole conversations that's why I wouldn't even argue about like rap and all of this other, everything, all of these things we was demonized for, like we was like this thug music, these criminals and all of these things, you know, you still talk about when you look at ownership, you don't see the black people there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we fought for warehouse and worker jobs, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when you say that, you know, like, well, you have to be like, you have work, because people do have that misconception, like, you don't work hard or whatever for some reason. Well, I know the reason, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, this is just certain people, you know.
Business. Some of us that come to this country don't even have a legal right to be here. You get me? So while you are fighting your fight, which is that of blackness, we are fighting our fight as immigrants first before we even see the fight of being black. Case on point. Back in Jamaica, it wasn't very hard for me to get a corporate job. I have the experience, I'm qualified, I'm all rounded, right? When I started applying to marketing jobs here, I was so timid, and I wasn't timid because I was black. I was timid because all my experience is saying Kingston, Jamaica. My education is saying Kingston, Jamaica.
Now, and shouts out to the sister who responded in this video. I just can't play it because it's like hella long, you know. But you think if they be like, I'm Natasha something something from Ukraine, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, you're in. Like, do you not think it has something to do with Jamaica being a black country, right? It's not Ukraine, right? See, this is like a misconception that we seem to like get lost on, you know. And I'm not saying that there isn't differences or we shouldn't celebrate. Always compare it to the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would probably win in everything, you know what I'm saying? Black people that's in America, we probably win in everything. Let's be real, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, we compete, you know what I'm saying, with each other. And then we come together and compete against the world. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? You can have your I'm this, I'm that, or whatever it is that you want to do, but we understand that we are black first. It ain't no immigrant first. It ain't no sexuality first. It ain't no nationality first or anything like that. You're black first, you know what I'm saying? And I say, for me personally, it is black only, because I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm siding with straight men over black. No, it's black all day. It ain't a question to me what I'm siding with. It's black people, and I'm gonna stand up for black people over any and everybody else, you know.
My volunteer experience is Kingston, Jamaica. My entrepreneurial projects is Kingston, Jamaica. When those people get my resume, the first thing that they're gonna see is an immigrant. They're not thinking that this is a black person. We're fighting for our place at the
That's not, see, because they also see like Hector and Gonzalez and all of this stuff, but they certainly do like whatever. Well, at least the working jobs that they're not getting. Tyrone, you know, like, you know how crazy it is here. Like, one sister made up a song called Tyrone, and people stop naming their children Tyrone, and the song Tyrone was the responsible one. Like, see, like, that's what, like, when you put your name on like stuff, that's why they be like, don't name your child no black sounding name, you know what I'm saying? Name your child Mark or Timmy or something like that, you know, because it reflects on their applications, you know what I'm saying? See, they think it's, oh well, it's an immigrant, but no, it's, you know, you should put down a European immigrant, you know what I'm saying? But the difference is, right, they don't see how Ukraine is getting all of these money. Hell, even Mexicans getting all of these money, but Haitians is getting beat at the border, right? And they can't come. Last I checked, is going down in Haiti. I know black people is worried about Arabs, but it's going down in Haiti and other African countries that are not coming here, right? That are not getting those resources, right? Because everybody else understands what the game is, right? But anyway.
Table as immigrants to provide for ourselves and our families. I started a business recently, and I'm trying to break into some spaces, and I realized that when I'm on the phone, as intelligent as I sound, they're hardly interested because of my accent. I is for breaking your glass ceilings and doing the best that you guys can do with what you have, given the current situation that's in America. Consider this: where we're from, let me just speak on Jamaica. In Jamaica, racism is not a thing that I've ever experienced. I've experienced classism.
Like, wait a minute. Didn't like a few months ago or last year, that old white bitch died and people was crying, but she died with black people jewels on her neck. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, like what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, but when this whole like, because people like to be like, oh, racism is just an American. No, like, bro, like that thing has happened all over the world. Like I forgot to pull it up. Like people was just talking about those white couples on the beaches in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Um, doing what they do. So yeah, like I'm not understanding like when people think that it's just, oh, race is just an American thing. No, it's like a global thing, which is why black people have to realize you can keep your tribal identities and do all of the things, but we understand that we are under attack for your resources, and one of the biggest resources is you.
Experience the colorism, but not racism. So the kind of anger that you rightfully have, we don't necessarily have that. We don't necessarily have that anger. We don't have that chip on our shoulders the same way how you would have it. We can empathize with the
And that's
situation.
not true. I know a lot of Jamaicans that are in fact, I know a lot of Jamaicans that talk crazy, like that be talking, so yeah, that's not true really. And there's a reason, like, and by the way, like, and just a historical thing too. A lot of times they would send black people in America over there to Jamaica to get quote unquote buck broken. You know what I'm saying? Like George Washington used to threaten his slaves, like, "Oh, if you don't get it together, I'm gonna send you over there." And that's why like they have that strong thing against homosexuality over there, because like that's where a lot of this is not against, it's just what they use. This is what they did on that island. You know what I'm saying? They sent people there to get buck broken.
Situation, and we are very upset when we see racial injustice, but the kind of anger and drive that you guys have, we don't always share it. Like we don't necessarily feel it, even though we're willing to support you guys. We don't necessarily feel it the way how you guys feel it, and rightfully so, because it is not in our culture. We don't want to go into the square and march, because at the end of the day, if the police scrape us up off the road while we're out there marching with you guys, the first thing they're gonna do is call ICE. And that's just the truth. And I get why you would feel the way you feel, because you're expecting like all black people to band together and try to help to break the glass ceiling, but it's just not our number one priority. We're just trying to survive. At the end of the day, we're trying to survive, and we're not trying to get deported. I also find it very offensive when you guys are trying to say, oh, we're trying to be the white man's pet. Like, what do you mean by that? Because African Americans have to code switch if they want to be able to enter into certain spaces. You guys said that, not me. Why do you think it would be any different for us if we are trying to get ahead? Why do you think that we wouldn't want?
Right, but she said that was different, and then shouts out to the sister for pointing most of this stuff out. But she said that was different, though. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, "Oh, well, we have to do that to whatever," and so we're different from you for having to do that. But also, oh well, you have to do that too. I wonder why? Because you have to act like you are not black. You know what I'm saying? Or get away from that quote unquote blackness.
To try to align ourselves with the majority because we're in survival mode. My bottom line is everything that we do is not necessarily from a place of race. It's from a place of being an outsider and trying to find our own path on this new journey that we're taking. Those are my 2 cents.
All right. So, and the only reason why I'm playing that, see, I could be like messed up and be like, oh, this is a representation of all Jamaicans. I wouldn't do that. And that's why I would be like, yo, when people try to do the same thing about black people here, of course, there's all differences, but we let our allegiances mess us up. But I had to play this because, like I said, this family, this brother may have thought this way and thought it was okay, but you see that, you know what I'm saying, and you're gonna see like in the court system, right? And they're not gonna be like, oh, you're Jamaican. Well, what is Jamaica to you? It represents a black island. You know what I'm saying? Like it's used as for them as a derogatory. Like, oh, if you look at what happens in black countries, you know what I'm saying? But you better be glad that you learned something, you know, even though they don't know a damn thing. You better be glad that we kidnapped you and taught you something, even though they don't know nothing, you know. But anyway.
And spent a lot of time together.
Make sure as soon as he come through the door, he finishes schoolwork, so as soon as I get home.
Justin and his father were both very involved in each other's lives.
So, y'all, RIP to this young brother, you know. And I wanted to show this. This one might not, so I'm gonna skip it, right? This is in DC to another young brother, right? They done like pull this brother's pants down and all of that during one of these little protest things, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Back over there, but some changes around here. Yeah. You got it.
Look at this, and then these is like black cops up in DC, like got this kid hemmed up and like pulling his pants down and all of that stuff in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing? Like, see, we don't understand though. Like, we try to find somebody else. See, he's out there at one of them Arab Palestinian protests. You know,
What are they doing?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself.
What do they do? It's kind of humiliating.
Yeah.
It's humiliating. You're at a protest. All right, let's get.
I wonder if those black cops put a flashlight in a white kid that ham pots, especially that little thug who they need to be having a flashlight on. That got us into, because maybe if they had a flashlight on her frontal lobe wouldn't have got smashed up. You know what I'm saying? Who out here trying to fight people? Maybe they should have had a flashlight on her. Let's see if they're gonna do that though.
Get the young black kid.
It's always the young black kid.
Get the young black kid, and let's pull his pants and put a flashlight up his ass. But then the white cops leave, and they leave it to the black cops. I see that a lot in DC.
I'm gonna show you this because I want to talk about something else after this, y'all. I'm not trying to be on here super long, so I'm gonna try to go through the rest of it quicker. Maybe I want to see this young sister talking.
Yeah, that transfer got transferred to an area, Barnesville, Georgia, that was like being thrown back into
what's going on, Raw?
of people yelling the N-word at us to get off their lawn, telling us they're gonna get their gun. They still, on Wednesdays, everything was closed until 2 p.m. in honor of the slave trade. During that time, everything would be closed so that people could go to the auction blocks.
What?
Yeah. And so they still honored that all the way in 2013. And it was because that town was a slave town where they would do, like, the railroad came through it, and that's until 2 p.m. there would be auctions. I was just full on scared for my life.
Yeah, shouts out to Raw in the building. And yeah, Raw, you gotta go back to the beginning, Raw. You know, it was definitely some crazy stuff. You know, I don't know if we're gonna ever learn, you know, but this is the town she's talking about, Barnesville, Georgia. It's a former sundown town. They try to do racial cleansing, but anyway, I want you to see that right before you see this, because you understand this, right? But as much as black people talk about this anti black bill or whatever, right? And the thing is, like, what we don't understand is like how they're going to use that type of stuff. Like, just like today, like with the civil rights bill, we understand all of what it was supposed to, whatever, but they bastardized all of it. And today is them saying, hey, I'm suing you because you're discriminating against white people under the civil rights thing, right? This is how they always use these certain things, right? And even with the young lady was talking about immigrants, and she's an immigrant first and not black first. She's an immigrant, then occupation, and then some people, I'm doctor first, I'm this first, like you're black, but I want you to see how quickly this get pat. And this dude, Mark Levine, is a funny dude,
Here, ladies and gentlemen, with Congressman Mike Lawler of New York. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
Good. First time, I think.
And by the way, so this is on all of them campuses, right? And you notice I ain't talking about it, right? And all of these Negroes is out there. We just seen the young brother with the flashlight and his pots, you know what I'm saying, out there caping. And I wish that we would have that same energy and we stand behind that young sister, like we stand, like let's pretend like she's Arab or something and over in another country and have her back the same way we have everybody else's back, right? But of course, let's hear what these fools have to say.
Thank you.
During the campaign in 2022. Yep.
That's right. And you want a close race. You want it from a Democrat. That's a good thing. Now, you're working with a Democrat from, I think, the most Democrat district in the United States of America, who's Richie Torres, who actually supports the state of Israel and comes under vicious, vile attack from the squad and other squatters. And you and he are working on something together. Is that right, Congressman?
No question, Mark. We've actually introduced a few bills together, including the special envoy for the Abraham Accords, which became law. But just recently, we introduced the Columbia Act, which would target, schools like Columbia that are engaged in this vile anti-Semitism that we're seeing. It would allow the Department of Education to install an anti-Semitism monitor because what we're seeing right now on these campuses.
Now, for those of us who think that we are Americans, right? It's just ironic that somehow you get skipped over every damn time, right? Now, I don't know what they're saying they're going to do to you. You know what I'm saying? I guess they're going to try to come up. I don't know. I guess they're going to go to some gangster stuff. That's only what I've been trying to say the whole of this time, but I'm the extreme one here. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm like, listen, it is what it is. But what are they going to do? It is what it is.
Opera GX.
Damn, see. And he got money anyway, so it don't matter.
Like President Shafiq refused to do their jobs to keep these students safe and to crack down on anti-Semitism. We know that if these were protests against black people or gay people or immigrants, that these schools would crack down on.
It's funny though, like racism doesn't exist until they have to prove it. Like the first thing that they're gonna bring up is like, what if I was black? Well, they said it doesn't exist, but what about a protest about black people? Something stupid, Well, what if we responded the same way that they did? That's the real question. You know what I'm saying?
On them immediately. But because this is a protest under the guise of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, they allow it to occur no matter the vile anti-Semitism that is spewed. And ultimately, the objective here is to change the behavior. And I've also introduced a bill, the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which will be voted on tomorrow on the House.
I think that's what that passed, the Awareness Act, Anti-Semitism Awareness Act.
Floor, which would basically codify President Trump's executive order that would require the Department of Education to adopt the IRA working definition.
Wait, hold on. You said Trump's executive order? Because both sides, this, by the way, this happened under the quote unquote Democrat, because it doesn't matter, right? They talk about left, right, all of that's nonsense, it don't matter, right? And they be like, oh, well, you gotta vote for Biden because we gotta save democracy. Meanwhile, this is democracy under him. We lost, because why? I don't know why we would want to save it anyway, but it's nothing to be saved. It's not even that.
Of anti-Semitism for all of its Title VI violations of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 on its discrimination enforcement cases.
And there's a reason why I ain't talk about black people sitting out there, because it's pissing me off. Why? Who? And then we mad that they out there mad at them. you Negroes need to do something for your damn self first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish we had this energy for ourselves the same way we got for these other fools. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk, well, they protested for George Floyd. Well, they was responsible for him getting. If they wasn't even here, there would have been a different Arab or a Chinese. But you get my point. It was one of them that did it. Anyway.
Congressman Lawler, are you shocked, like I am, and many of my audience are also shocked about this, that Joe Biden has been basically silent about all this? Is this not all the actions coming out of Congress, mostly from Republicans? You have a few Democrats, like.
So it is coming from the Republicans too, because their fan base like supposedly hate Jews and they not white. It's white. All of them are white. You know what I'm saying? Because all the shysters ain't white. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they are. And they work together. They do these things because they understand how to put their tribalism to the side. They ain't gonna be like, oh well, I don't know. They do fight each other. Like, white on white crime is the thing. Less than 10% of the population and committed over 90% of the crimes. It's crazy.
Richie Torres, a handful of, but all the action is really mostly on the Republican side, and almost none of it is coming out of the.
A tough re-election, and Democrats are panicking about what is happening within the base of their party and how it will impact them electorally in Michigan and Minnesota. And so you see not only Joe Biden not leading on this issue, but you have
so basically young black people that don't give a damn about themselves, but because Genocide Joe, Let's Go Brandon himself, is doing something to some Arabs. Now the young black people wake up. Now is Joe Biden is getting out of here. But the problem with that mindset is like, this whole people of color stuff. Now the Mexican babies in cages grew up to stomp your children to death when they try to be friends with them. Yeah. Anyway,
Chuck Schumer, the highest ranking Jewish official in the history of the United States, pathetically timid on this issue. Just today, he finally spoke out, about what is happening at Columbia. But it's shameful. And Jerry Nadler is opposed to the bill that we're voting on tomorrow. Meanwhile, he was a co-sponsor of a similar bill just 4 years ago.
Remarkable, because the speaker had a press conference. I'm looking.
Anyway, so basically now, if I was to say, well, what about the shysters that caught each other and put their own people into ovens? Or if I say Hitler was a shyster, you know what I'm saying? Or if I say, anything that's quote unquote anti-Semitic, but who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm anti anybody who's anti me, so you can call it what you want to call it, right? But apparently, you know what I'm saying now, you better shut the hell up when you're talking about them if you want to keep whatever it is. But now you see how and why they had got kicked out so many times of the places that they were in, right? Because this happens over and over in history, but I guess now we're getting a live demonstration of why the shysters keep getting kicked out of everywhere they go, Anyway. So, okay, I'll play this one.
Ending the many schisms and tensions and the Israeli establishment more broadly of racism against their community due to their skin color. Notwithstanding the many schisms and tensions characterizing Israeli society, most Israelis still adhere, officially at least, to the idea of eliminating the differences between Jews in the country. Although the term black was used in Israeli discourse even before the establishment of the state and was attributed to various groups, Israelis do not usually perceive themselves or groups in Israeli society in racial terms. Therefore, the Pakata incident, revealing this hidden racial aspect, gained widespread attention in Israel well beyond the Ethiopian community. This was not the first time, however, that blackness was associated with official racism and discrimination in Israel. In 1971, second-generation Mizrahi immigrants living in the poor neighborhood of Musrara in Jerusalem formed the Israeli Black Panther movement. By identifying themselves as blacks, these Mizrahi youngsters alluded to the gap between the official Zionist narrative of ingathering the Jewish exiles and the reality in which some Jews remain.
All right. So it's irrelevant for real because newsflash, they don't like black people, right? Anyway, y'all, and I did want to show this, right? Because they talking about these DEI things because they're saying that it's racist against white boys, Well, anyway, this is Iowa though, so I guess even though there's Negroes out in
He's introduced
Iowa.
their plans to terminate their current diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to the Board of Regents. Some of those changes include eliminating positions and shifting funding used for the programs to other priorities within the universities. Local 5's Larissa Leone breaks down the details.
Universities are eliminating their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The University of Iowa restructured its Central Iowa office and created 2 new central divisions, one focusing on state compliance requirements and the other on accreditation requirements. The UI president told the Board of Regents it also eliminated 5 open positions, with roughly $360,000 redeployed to student success initiatives. President Jay Wilson says the university intends to reimagine the current system.
What I want to emphasize in all of this is our goal is education and research and complying with the laws that we have.
Iowa State's president told the Board of Regents the university is closing its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office in July and removing 2 filled positions and 3 vacant positions. The money for the DEI office will now go to other so-called university priorities. ISU's president says as the years have passed, she fears rural Iowa students may see Iowa State as too big and wouldn't feel like they belong. Though the
So she's saying like white boys that's out in the country who say there's too many niggas or N-words there. They would say that word, but I'm gonna say N-words. There's too many N-words there, so I don't want to go no more. A football team, basketball team, that's all right.
Wouldn't feel like they belong, though the university says it's working on the president's concerns.
One of the first things we did was establish learning communities so that a young white man from rural Iowa could come and be in a learning community and find a place where they could belong.
As for the University of Northern Iowa, the president there says the school is taking a more holistic.
So, they're in Iowa taking their, what for themselves. Now, all right, I want to play this, right? Now, I normally don't play this fool because it's like too easy, but this was pretty funny,
In promotions, there would be all of that.
So
but there would also be the public manifestation
agenda
of it, of saying out loud, we just don't like you. You're not as good. You are morally defective because of your skin color. You say this about white people who founded the United States. You'd be shocked by that. And then to turn on the TV and see the president of the United States do the very same thing, you'd think maybe you'd been drinking ayahuasca. You'd see Joe Biden say things like, president making that one statement. That is the people in charge of the country reinforcing that statement and that theme every single day of the year, not just by their words, but with their, well, physically, lots of people. Could we have a resolution that doesn't look like Rwanda? Jeremy Carl is an author who's thought a lot about this. He's got a brand new book called The Unprotected Class, How Anti-White Racism is Tearing America Apart. He joins us now. Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
It may be an advantage or maybe a disadvantage of being a little bit older that this is like the one thing you never thought, or I never thought you would see in America, which is our leaders openly attacking people on the basis of their race just 60 years after the civil rights movement that supposedly taught us the opposite lesson.
They got a surprise coming. When hopefully our children wake up, they got a surprise coming. They thought this was bad.
Attacked. So how did this happen, do you think?
Well, it's an interesting question, right? And I think you just hit on a key point, which is 60 years. We're as far now from the Civil Rights Act as they were basically from the Wright brothers. So there's been a lot of time that's kind of a lot of water under the bridge since that time. And a lot of things have happened. And I think it was begun with very sincere intentions. But I think rather quickly, certainly, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, it got really hijacked to the point that we went from trying to treat people equally to what has eventually amounted to reverse racism.
Right. Or just, I guess I would just call it racism because it seems like the standard would remain the same no matter the race of the person being discriminated against. You can't attack people. You can't punish people for the color of their skin, for how they were born. So like that seems like a pretty easy principle to uphold. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, I would agree with you, Tucker, but it's, nonetheless, we're really seeing throughout, and this is what I really wrote the book about, throughout many different areas of endeavor, and whether that be when we're looking at how crime gets talked about, to what's going on in Hollywood, to the educational system and monuments coming down, and everything you could imagine. Kind of the white person is kind of the great enemy. It's the kind of the evil guy in 1984, the kind of 2 minutes of hate we have to have against him. The Emmanuel Goldstein figure kind of is
kind of inherent to people. I mean, they pop up in every society at every time through history. Like there's something in.
All right, I'll do this another time. Okay, I'll do this another time. Y'all. I'll spare y'all today because it was funny. Because he said something that I did want y'all to understand, but I'm gonna skip that and go back to like what they were saying about Iowa and this. Now, even though they say that, you know who's still gonna show up? Yes, these young black brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I know people had saw that when it came to the draft thing, but this brother is saying like why the young brothers say they're gonna quote unquote marry white women or white bitches. I'm sorry, excuse me, white bitches and not black women.
I am going to tell you, as someone that is friends with a lot of D1 football players and D1 basketball players, I'm going to tell you because they have told me. Whoa. Before I get into this, I want to make it clear I'm only into black women. I'm just telling you what they have told me. My man said, bro, how many white women have you seen do the Meg Thee Stallion challenge? And he said, excluding the ones that think they're 2 shades away from being Lotto. I said, probably only 1. He said, okay. Y'all, 5 of my guys that play on Division I Power 5 football teams, and they were like, Goody, you know the type of NIL deals we got. One of my men said, bro, I was messing with this black girl. She heard about the deal I got and started to request money, Apple Pays and Cash Apps for her hair and nails. I said, oh shit. My other friends were saying, bro, I would try to take her out to Chipotle, Kava, this and that. She would get mad talking about why are we going to steakhouses? You're good for it. I said, oh shit. They were like, bro, the white women, they're down to go and get a cup of coffee, go and get some fucking ice cream. My friends were like, bro, the white women we're dating, they pay for a lot of our stuff. I said, what do you mean? They said, bro, they know that we're making some money, but while we're at practice or we're at camp, they got us our favorite Kava bowl, double chicken, right? Waiting for them to come out of practice. My friends are telling me these girls are getting their group projects done, getting their essays done, online tests done on time. I said, wait, what? I said, bro, what about maintenance? There's no way y'all not paying for her hair, nails, bags, her lifestyle. He said, bro, first of all, my girl will get her own Starbucks and even get me one, but if I want to be nice, I'll get her something, from
First of all, he's lying because you see most of them be like that damn white girl. Oh, you gonna be running down the street screaming and end up in court, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the hell he's talking about, And they're saying like, oh, well, they're going to trick on them. They trick on them white girls, you know what I'm saying? So they say, oh, they don't ask for. Most of this stuff is like, just not true. But anyway.
Starbucks, and they were like hair and nails. They don't even care about the nails, really, And if they do it themselves. Sometimes I pitch in, and I was like, all right, what about hair? They were like, bro, she's white. She just brushes it. We're flat irons it. She wants to be special. Jesus Christ, you guys are saving a lot of money.
Well, that's true. White girls don't take showers and stuff like that, and probably don't do much upkeep of their bodies. That might be true. They probably have lice in their hair, so I'm not sure if they do that. So yeah, they probably do have lice in their hair, and it goes very untreated.
One of my men said this. He just got drafted. He said, bro, I was dating a black girl. Now I'm dating a white girl. I'm about to marry her. He said the difference between the black girl and the white girl, the biggest difference is the white girl knows when to shut the fuck up. I said, God damn. Listen, this is what they told me. Do with the information as you please. If it takes me 10 to 15 years to find a black woman that's compatible with me, that's what I'm going to do. But this is what they told me. So stop being surprised. Why are all these black college athletes that are getting drafted having white women?
If we're being real with each other, I just feel like black athletes are being targeted.
So yeah, you already see that, But anyway, should I agree or disagree? Listen to this fool, So you see, like they're talking about, all right, so they get all of these things. So can white bitch raise a black child?
Can raise black men?
They do. Oh, you know what they do that black women don't do?
Please tell me, Ray. Please tell me.
They protect them. Black women can't protect black sons because they know what's out there. They understand what they got to deal with. So they got to prepare them. If you're a white woman raising a black man, you can't prepare him from the world. It's just different. White women, when they raise black kids, they protect them. And when black women raise black kids, they prepare them. It's no malice in my heart.
It's none in his.
It's none in my heart. I'm gonna
see, that's the truth deep down. Like, it's like that movie Get Out. They want that scene where the cop was like, yo, let me see your license, and then the white girl step up for him and they can hide by her whiteness. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm starting to be convinced of. You're talking about, well, she can protect them. Do they protect them though? Like, who's gonna protect them from the white bitch? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna protect you from her? You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Tell the truth. If you think what I'm saying is offensive,
Think white women could raise black men?
they do. Ooh, you know what they do that black women don't do?
Please.
See, y'all think that white bitches can have black children. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what to tell you. You want to see one of their offspring? This is one of their damn offsprings here. Listen,
my father is black. My family derives from the Mississippi Delta region. I know my history. Do I have a white mother? Am I biracial? Absolutely. Does that take away from me being black? No, it doesn't.
Yes. Do I have a white mother? Yes. Yes. That means you're. Anyway, that's one of these.
So, I'm not so outside of you guys as much as you think.
Oh no, he might be a little bit outside of us. Anyway, y'all, check this out, right? Let's see, something positive to go off, right? This young brother, I'm not sure what happened. I gotta look into it, but apparently he ended up killing 4 cops down in North Carolina, right? And I'm sure it was self-defense, he feared for his life. I would bet money,
Into that horrific shootout in North Carolina that killed 4 officers and wounded 4 others, all trying to serve an active felony warrant when the suspect opened fire. ABC's Faith Abube describing the moments that followed.
4 police officers killed and 4 others injured after trying to serve felony warrants in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Shots fired at officer, possibly 1 down. Correction, 2 down.
Now I know what y'all thinking. Oh Lord, this is wrong. This is wrong, But I already showed you why the children in the beginning. Why the children? I already showed you.
Just barricaded himself.
The officers, part of a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, descended on this home looking for convicted felon 39-year-old Terry Clark Hughes Jr. Authorities say Hughes opened fire on the officers. Listen closely, and you can hear at least 1 gunshot as a stunned bystander records it all. Neighbors describing the mayhem as police took over their house.
They used one of our bedrooms to set up a U.S. Marshal sniper in.
Helicopters hovered and schools put on lockdown during the 4-hour standoff.
We were at the track and we could hear a lot of gunshots.
Overnight, Officer Joshua Iyer, a 6-year veteran of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, succumbing to his injuries, leaving behind a wife and 3-year-old son.
Keep your prayers, keep your faith. Make sure that these officers who have families have people to reach out and hold them up.
And officers Sam Pelosi and William Elliott also died in that shootout. We're waiting for identification of the 4th officer. In the meantime, the police chief says 4 other officers wounded in the shooting are stable. And
so, you already know how they're gonna present the brother on here. So yeah, I gotta look into more of it. What happened?
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website.
He said he knew him or them. Oh yeah, he knew it was him, them or him.
For law enforcement in
And that brother said it ain't gonna be me, or at least
and several others hurt in Charlotte,
not
North
only
Carolina.
me.
CBS 2's Jermont Terry following the developments from the newsroom for us tonight. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, the deadly law enforcement shooting in Charlotte came around the same time Chicago paused to remember CPD's fallen officer, Weska. A tough day for police as a total of 8 officers from the North Carolina task force were shot. And late tonight, a 4th officer also died while serving that warrant.
Shots fired at officer, possibly 1 down. Subjects, correction, 2 down. Subjects barricaded themselves.
When this
Correction,
call went out
3
over
down.
police radio, it was
Correction,
clear the North
4
Carolina
down.
task force was attacked and more officers were needed. The person who barricaded himself inside a home is the same man investigators say fired first when he spotted the task force moving in.
We were driving by, we heard about over.
I'm not sure about if he fired first. He probably feared for his safety when you see all of them. You already knew what was up.
That the task force moving in.
We were driving by, we heard about over 100 gunshots. It sounded like World War III.
By the time officers from every nearby agency responded,
Something is happening, it's really bad.
Neighbors were floored by what was
Something happening really bad. Well, anyway, y'all gonna know when it's World War III, right? I don't see. I say, like, has there really been a World War? Because we ain't been involved in it. You know what I'm saying? What were we doing? We was fighting for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's never really been a world war. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that would means we fighting for or competing or trying to take what is ours. Right now is a world war. You know what I'm saying? If we ever wake up, that's what it's gonna be. You know. So you'll know. That's why I can't even go to 3 yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think it's been 1 for real. Because what the hell was we doing during all these world wars?
Sounded like World War III.
By the time officers from every nearby agency responded,
Something is happening, it's really bad.
Neighbors were floored by what was playing out in their backyard.
There was shots ringing left and right. We had SWAT and U.S. Marshals set up snipers in our bedrooms. There was an officer got drugged by his arms to our house.
During the shootout, 8 members of this U.S. Marshal task force were injured. 3 were killed, and Joshua Ayer from the Charlotte Police Department, the 4th to die.
Today we lost some heroes that are out to just simply trying to keep our community safe.
Police say 1 suspect was also killed, and they're questioning 2 other people found inside the house. That warrant was for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. It was an intense SWAT situation. Officers put themselves in line of fire to rescue their injured comrades still in the crossfire. Some scary moments which turned deadly, but one highlighting the risk every law enforcement officer faces daily.
These are people that care deeply about what they've done for a profession, and now today we have to say to them how much we are grateful for what they have done.
Now, the FBI is on scene to help in the investigation in North Carolina. Meanwhile, officers from the Chicago Police Department will travel to North Carolina in the coming days to honor the fallen officers there, just hours after so many came to support CPD. Live in the newsroom tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS 2 News. Erica?
All right. Jermont, thank you.
All right, so now before we go off, we gotta this is gonna be the positive thing for today. Another positive thing. Play this sister one more time. Shouts out to this young sister for defending herself. And at some point in time, this may be the manifestation of a greater good where you gotta defend yourself, you know.
Hold on, wait, let me get a good angle. Let me get it. Look.
Your antenna.
All right, ignore the ignorant part with the black children not being educated, but the first part, I'm gonna play that one more time and stop it at the right
Hold
point.
on, wait, let me get a good angle. Let me get it. Look.
Your antenna.
Sometimes that's how you have to teach a bully, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just what it is, you know. Anyway, y'all. And then also, I'm gonna let this brother y'all listen to the first part. I'm gonna play this last part again. My bad. Then I'm gonna get off of here. So shouts out to all of y'all, you know. Appreciate this brother here.
Adolf Hitler, perpetrator of the Holocaust.
May I have your attention, please? Thank you.
Adolf Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust on 11 million people that died, 6 million of which were Jews, 5 million were others. Am I to understand that you would very much support his way of doing things, and him for that matter?
Sir, this is not reverse racism nor discrimination that you could tie into your statement on Hitler. If the slave master is whipping the slave and blood is running down the slave's back, and that's incidentally where the term cracker comes from the cracker man who was had the crack of the whip on the slave's back. But if the slave takes the slave master's whip from him and starts whipping the slave master with his own whip, that is not reverse racism, that is not reverse discrimination, that is the slave getting out from under the yoke of bondage and oppression. I don't advocate what Hitler has done before the world. Hitler's struggle. I went to the Holocaust Memorial Museum and I tried to separate Hitler as a freak of nature from the rest of white people. But after all that we have gone through, I know that there's a little bit of Hitler in all white people and a lot of Hitler.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
And a lot of Hitler and a whole lot more. Ain't that something? Anyway, man, I did have to come on there and talk about some of that. I spared y'all with some of that. I might not later, but yo, I appreciate y'all for listening. Shouts out to Raw in the building. I appreciate you coming through. Shouts out to Considerable Realm in the Bush. I appreciate you. Marcus True Sight was in the building. I appreciate you. And shouts out to everybody out there. And you know what? I have to do this for the last words, y'all. This is gonna be the last words. No offense to Khalid Muhammad. That should have been the last words, but this was always gonna be it. Damn. All right, hold on.
Tonight on The Patriot Factor, we are here with special guest Darren Coates, pastor of New Love Worship Center. Pastor.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Thanks for coming. So, $10.5 million in property damages since the Brady trial ended. You have a question for those angry Black protesters out there.
The question I have for those protesters is that, do Black lives really matter? And I say no. Black lives does not matter. They won't not matter. And they can't not matter until Black on Black crime is eliminated.
Wow. Preach, preacher.
Blacks is confused. Don't nobody know what to do. Confused. What I'm gonna do? Am I gonna raise a fist? Or am I gonna march? Am I gonna march? Or am I gonna take a knee? Riot. Loot. What? And you know what the answer is, Sarah? Prayer.
Yes, Lord.
Prayer, Sarah. I get down on both knees. 2 knees, not one.
Yes.
And I pray. I pray that the same God who saw us through the middle passage will see us through this.
Amen.
Amen, sister?
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
So, what is you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? That is the real question. And do any of us have the actually right answer? Or do none of us do? But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.